Hey, what's up, everybody? BDO44 coming at you with another video. Alright, so let's jump straight into what we're talking about. The Charlotte Hornets, Los Angeles Lakers trade rumors are heating up. Now, you know, if you follow my channel, I don't really want us to do a deal with the Charlotte Hornets or anybody else because I want a specific piece. But with the urgency of everything that's going on, it's becoming less likely that the Lakers can get away with not making some kind of trade sooner than what we would otherwise need to wait to see if that piece shakes loose. The Lakers are a team that's not built to win right now. We can't hit a basket from behind the arc to save our lives. We got Russell Westbrook and everybody else struggling on this team, and we have issues that are glaring, and tough decisions have to be made. And we've discussed it a lot over the past couple of videos, and now it's time to talk about solutions. So, if we're going to talk about what needs to happen in regards to doing a deal with the Charlotte Hornets, we need to first understand that we do not want to close the door on being able to get better from here, which means we got to keep Charlotte from getting both of those picks. They can't have them both. They cannot have them both. And the only way we would be able to give them both to them, is if they give us significantly more than what they're worth. When I say significantly more, Danny Ainge style fleecing. We need to take care of those picks to that degree. We need to value them like they're one leg of our future, because at the end of the day, once you give them up, we really are stuck with whatever it is that we get. There's no way to get out from under what it is that we're about to do. So you're looking at Gordon Hayward's contract is 2 years, $30 million a piece. That's a $30 million a year for Gordon Hayward. He plays about 30 games a year. Let's just be honest. That's a terrible contract. You don't want that on your books next season. And then Terry Rozier is a 4-year, $21 million. Now, I like Terry Rozier. I think he's an all-star level player, certified killer, someone who plays both sides of the floor, someone who's going to instill a lot of energy into your team, someone like Patrick Beverley, who's going to irritate people and get under their skin and be relentless in the moment and help you win. I very much believe Terry Rozier can help you win. But at $21 million, that's a hefty price to pay for him, and what you expect him to be for 4 years. Now, do I think he could play $21 million worth of basketball every year? Yes, I think he could. If he's healthy, he's definitely going to play up that value. But is he the piece that you want to pay that much of your cap when we're constructed this way? I don't know. I think he can help us win, but I don't know if he's the best version of what it is that we can get at that price tag. I don't believe so. When I look at certain players who are in certain situations, I say we can get a lesser version of that for a significantly less price and get away with it, and then stack another piece on top of that, which will ultimately make us better, instead of just getting Terry Rozier and that being it. Yeah, Terry's good or better than what you could have got, but you're also now out of what it is that you could have also got, and we have too many holes to play around that way. So that's really what it is. We already got 2 players on max contract. And then, of course, Russell Westbrook would be sent out. So what you don't want to do is bring back salary that's going to be even more difficult to move than Russell Westbrook, given the fact that it'll be on multiple years, of players that are attached to injury history. Terry Rozier's had injury history. He tends to miss games, tends to be out when you need him the most at times. You look at a guy like Gordon Hayward, as we said. He hasn't been right since his injury with the Boston Celtics. And at this point in time, he's playing very, very well. But to invest in him at this level, to assume that he's going to stay at this level, is to ignore the history. Is to ignore what it is that we've seen. And you couple that with his age, that's just not a good investment in the short term, especially when you know the contract's going to expire in 2 years. You want to get Gordon Hayward, you just wait 2 years and you buy him at the price that he's going to be at that point, when he'll be significantly less priced. Yes, you would love for him to help you now, but how much he'll help you now versus how much he'll help you then versus how much he's worth now versus how much he's worth then just makes it so that you just wait. That's how I look at that. It's just too expensive. It's like I said, Gordon Hayward wants to be a Laker, you go to Michael Jordan and you get bought out. Then you come to the organization and you take whatever a negotiated price would be that is fair for what it is that we're about to do. Because right now, taking you on at $30 million and thinking we're going to win the championship with you, AD, and Bron, that's a joke. That's an absolute joke. We're going to have 3 injury-prone players. We're going to be terrible. There's no way it works. So Like the piece Gordon Hayward is, yeah, he fits perfectly. He's exactly what we need. He's a shooter. He's a player. He can do all kinds of stuff, continuity, all that stuff. All-star level player, gonna win games, shoot you down, all of the great stuff that we love from a great level player. But at the end of the day, we already have injury issues with these two, Braun and AD. We know that, and so if you're gonna build, the third piece needs to be steady. The one reason why we brought Russell Westbrook in is because we knew he could play. It was a good chance he was gonna play 82 games. That's why ultimately you bring a piece like that in above all else, because if those other two guys go down, he's a one-man band if he's right. He wasn't right. That's simple as that. It's not that he was supposed to fit. It was that he was supposed to take over when those guys get hurt. I think people have lost sight of what the Lakers were actually thinking when they brought Russell here. I know what they were thinking. But at the end of the day, it was just a bad decision, horrible strategy. It didn't take into account depth. It mattered at all. We were getting rid of pieces who were struggling that we knew would gain value once we traded them because of the style that they played at when they were here. KCP, Kyle Kuzma. You knew Kuzma was going to play better than what we had him at. What you needed to do was fire the coach so that you could bring in the system and make Kuzma better. But we didn't understand that concept of raising the value of players by way of the environment and culture. At the time, but we've been preaching that in this camera since, and I think the organization is starting to understand it as well. You just got to do certain things that ultimately make the players look better, and hopefully sending Russell Westbrook home will be the decision that will cap that off, as in terms of them actually understanding it. But that's just what needs to be understood. We've done a lot of things that have created an environment that makes it difficult to grow in for young players, despite having fantastic scouting and great help coaches and all of that. At the end of the day, we just have distractions in place, purposeful mismatch types of fits on the team in terms of players that on the squad. You put them together, they don't fit on paper, but you expect them to work, and then get frustrated when it doesn't. It's just a whole lot of getting in your own way around here, and that's really what Laker fans are looking at in terms of wanting a supplement. What they're seeing with a deal that can make the team better. But in making this roster better, what you also can do is end up making your situation worse by bringing on contracts that ultimately will be difficult to manage and bring even more talent too. Now your players over the coming seasons are going to be even worse. The caliber of talent that you're bringing to yourself is even worse because now you have those contracts on top of Westbrook. On top of Braun and AD, and you still don't have a whole lot to show for yourself even then. Gordon Hayward goes down with an injury. He's sitting now. He's eating away from your cap. Maybe, Terry Rozier plays cool. Maybe he doesn't, but you got him for 4 years. So once you try to shop him, ain't nobody going to want to take that contract from him. So it's just like, no. We need to start looking at our situation as a means of creating flexibility for ourselves. And that will draw talent to us. We're the Lakers, so all the best talent's going to want to be here anyway. We're just going to need to create an opportunity for ourselves to be able to afford them when that time comes. And in my opinion, we're doing things that are too short-sighted. We're trying to do too much for right now. We're trying to satisfy this era when no one else even cares about this era. To be honest with you, if you look around, we're fighting so hard to get a championship that only a few teams actually want. The trophy is Wembanyama in 2022-2023. It's not Larry O'Brien. And we're doing all we can to chase the trophy, and it's lovely, but the team who gets the trophy is going to understand that nobody else valued it this season. So it's like when you're doing everything for that year, it's like we won the championship in the 2020 year, the bubble year. Nobody even focused on when it was time to win the championship. It was only 2 teams that even had the mental fortitude to do it, and we just so happened to be one of them. Great, but you see what happens when you go short-sighted. We went all in, and we got what? The trophy that you couldn't celebrate a championship parade for. It's kind of symbolic for what it actually comes of. What happens when you skip steps and mortgage your future and all of that? What ends up coming from it is somewhat empty because you didn't go through the proper steps of making sure that you got it the right way. The Lakers should look a certain way right now. They should look like a team that has Brandon Ingram on it, Lonzo Ball on it, DeAndre Hunter on it, Julius Randle on it, Larry Nance Jr. on it. It's so many different players that should actually be on our team right now. That should come together to make us be one of the deepest, most talented teams in the entire league because of all of the ineptitude years that we had that ultimately drafted all of those guys. Some of them would have been gone because we wouldn't be able to keep all of them, but that should be our actual core. And on top of that, we should have picks. Lots and lots of draft picks for the future. One of them including the ability to possibly tank for Wembanyama. That should be in our hands right now. What we wouldn't have was LeBron James and Anthony Davis. But that would be in our stead. And because of it, we would have so much flexibility to be able to now acquire Anthony Davis without giving up those picks possibly. Acquire LeBron James without necessarily having no flexibility to paths to bringing him everything that he wants. Now you can shift around and make better talent happen for yourselves. Now you can get Bron what he wants and what he needs. And if you get a contract like Russell Westbrook and you need to give up 2 picks to get rid of it, now you can do that because you have more picks in hand. We did everything we could. Julius Randle was our 7th pick in the overall draft that year and ended up developing to be a $150+ million player, and we let him walk out of our organization for nothing at all. We let him sign with the New Orleans Pelicans as a free agent. This was a lottery pick. Like this is, and we gave him away before he even fully developed. Brandon Ingram. You see what he turned into? Can anyone definitively tell me that he's not actually an equal talent to Anthony Davis right now? Can we definitively say that he's not equal? I cannot do that. Not watching the BI that's over there in New Orleans right now. He's just as good as AD. Just as good. Equal. And we gave him up on top of another lottery guy in Lonzo, on top of Josh Hart, who's potentially an all-star level 6-man caliber player, on top of a draft pick that ended up taking DeAndre Hunter, which also could have drafted Darius Garland, who's literally one of the best point guards in the league. He, if we had him right now, is now worth $150 million or more. Or was it $180 million Cleveland gave him? Yeah, that was the 4th pick in the draft that we just gave to New Orleans just as a part of this Anthony Davis trade. We gave them the pick for next year. We gave them Dyson Daniels, who was taken with the 6th pick in the draft last year. Like, are you seeing all of this talent the Lakers actually should have? You see all these dudes? This is why you suck. Brooklyn. You want to know who Brooklyn's talent is? Yeah, they had that problem too. All of Boston. The whole Boston Celtics is the Brooklyn Nets. That's why they suck. Because Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, that's their picks. Those guys are their picks. Brooklyn's core is in Boston. So, like, this is why you can clearly see these teams are not what it is they're supposed to be. They're not that. Why are they not that? Because they're not actually themselves. Golden State Warriors, all of those picks that I described, that's their real guys. They drafted all them dudes. Some of them, they 2nd-round picks. They didn't let them leave. They kept them. They paid them. They made the most of it, and then they brought something to them. Now, granted, one of them was Steph Curry, so hey. But, like, you got to develop your players and then stick with them, or you got to move them around the right way and keep your picks so you can develop players and do it the right way. I look at Portland, I say, okay, Portland is Portland. They are who they are. But look, they got a guy by the name of Shaedon Sharpe. I think Shaedon Sharpe could be a $180 million player one day. I legitimately believe that. All they got to do is hold on to him and let him develop to be that. Now, they can trade him right now for pennies on the dollar to us. We get him a 1st-round pick. You know, maybe give him the 2 picks. Give him, you know what I mean? We could do something like that, short-sighted like that. They give him to us. We turn him into what he's going to be. And then they're out of that great player that's legitimately theirs. But they let him go. Because they were short-sighted in nature or whatever they were trying to do. Maybe get something for Dame or something. We've seen so many teams do this, and sometimes it works out because the player don't turn into nothing. Sometimes the pick doesn't turn into nothing. Sometimes it's a dud. But did I name duds? Brandon Ingram ain't no dud. D'Angelo Russell ain't no dud. Julius Randle ain't no dud. This keeps going. Alex Caruso ain't no dud. These are people we let just go for pennies on the dollar or nothing at all in some cases. Definitely not for what they were worth. And that fourth pick, Darius Garland and DeAndre Hunter, I don't value DeAndre Hunter like that. But as I told you guys back then, I wouldn't have drafted Hunter. I would have drafted Garland. So I always look at that fourth pick as Garland. Garland, Brandon Ingram, Josh Hart, Dyson Daniels, whatever next year's pick's going to be. I mean, do you see how much we gave up for Anthony Davis? That's just Anthony. Dude, let's not get started on what we gave up for Russell. And Kyle Kuzma and KCP. These are Laker champions we gave up for this dude. Dudes that won an NBA championship. For no one at all to say that's a good look. For no one at all to say that's an easy team to build around. I look at Anthony Davis and LeBron James, and I never dreamed it would be so difficult to build around them. But the reality is neither one of them stretch the floor very well, and neither one of them rebound very well. But they both have to play as bigs. And they both need spacing, so the people around them have to be able to shoot. But that's a difficult thing, because if you can get a big who can do all the things they need him to do and shoot, he's going to have to be paid $180 million. They need to be paid $100, $200 million, $300, whatever the heck, sky high number. It's impossible to build around those too. And that's what we've learned. It literally is. In a world where you need to have positionless players, all you can afford to put around them is average bigs. And then players that can, like little guys who can shoot. So we find all these little guys. And see, the thing about it is because LeBron James is a facilitator and a ball-dominant player from the big spot, now it's like the type of guards you need to bring in need to be a certain type of guard. They can't be pass first because now it don't make sense with him. You see what I'm saying? It don't make sense with him because he's always taking the ball out of somebody's hands. Somebody needs to be able to create for someone else who's usually small. These small dudes are usually pass first guys. Point guard position is genuinely the floor general. He's the floor general at the big spot. And now you match him up with another big dude who don't rebound, who ain't really a big himself. So it's like, how the hell do you build around those two when you're limited to begin with in your cap situation? This was a botched job from the start. We should have been able to identify this before putting them two together. That's the truth. And I know nobody in their right mind would say, no, let's not put AD and Bron together back then. But now that we're seeing how difficult it is to build around them, I'm telling you that they're probably not the best fit for each other. Not because they can't fit on the floor, but because of cap restrictions and because of the styles that they play at and because of how much, just the cap restrictions, how much they make. It's impossible to build properly around them without full flexibility. And we never once had full flexibility with both of them. We've never had full flexibility at all. Jim Buss assured us of that when he signed those Mozgov dang contracts. So you see, the Lakers should have never ever been trying to take on LeBron James and Anthony Davis. No, we should not have, because we didn't have the ability to properly build around them based on what it is that they needed and how expensive it would be to bring that to them. Now we're finding out it's difficult to put those players together at these price tags that we have to offer. And because teams know that we need certain things, they're not giving us those things to us at a price that we can afford. Why would they? That doesn't benefit nobody but us. And teams have their own situations to consider, their own caps to manage and build. They got to save their dime so that they can get a good player here and there. So they can't afford to give us no favors. They can't afford to not apply Laker tax, because they're dealing with a Laker team that has the ability to draw free agents to them without trying. And this is what they choose to do. Make things difficult for themselves. You just got to know who you are, Lakers. You just got to know who you are, Genie. Do you know who you are? And see, that's the thing. It's like when you're at the top of the mountain, but not aware of all that comes with being at the top of the mountain as it pertains to what all you need to do to get what it is that's best for you, then you're just going to act up. Her father knew how to get to the top of the mountain, stay at the top of the mountain, behave at the top of the mountain. You feel what I'm saying? But she's learning it's a different thing than what she found out she thought it was. It's like, you got to really invest in the changes in the modern era, and you got to remain flexible at all times. You got to be ready for things to flip. Basketball is a fluid sport, which means that as it changes, people are going to redefine what it means to play the game. The rules will change. The types of players you're looking for change. We just came through an era where everybody needed to be small so you could shoot the three. Who would have thought that was even possible 40, 50 years ago? Now we're about to enter an era where everybody's looking to be tall, long, and wingy. And we're gonna exit that era too. So it's like, you just got to be ready for the changes. You can't be still building for yesterday's times and etc. So, the wisdom of all of this is to say, no, you don't acquire Gordon Hayward's contract and other contracts that are not going to help you get that flexibility, because it's going to continue to reinforce the same different little problems that we're ultimately focused on right now. The little problem is we can't shoot. Why can't we shoot? Because we made all kinds of decisions above that have to do with flexibility. And so if we continue to make these decisions because of flexibility while paying attention to this little bitty problem, which is us missing shots this random year, trust you me, we're going to have more little problems that we're continuing to focus on, and we're never going to get championship number 18. We're just going to keep being short-sighted and far away from what it is that we really need. Another Larry O. So I just know better, and I'm going to keep preaching that as long as I can continue to, because that's what I'm about as a Laker fan. I'm not just sitting here rooting for my team. I really genuinely know how to win. I know how to put together a world championship team, and I know what it doesn't look like when you don't have the foundation to build one. We don't have the foundation. We just pretend to believe we do, and then we're trotting out people out there who have their own agendas. People who can't even set aside their own feelings for the sake of winning basketball games so that they can look good themselves so people can talk about them better. I mean, I'm just at a space where I'm like, if we can't just get steady minds around us that just want to play basketball, we've lost sight of what the heck we're doing. You know how many hungry people out there want to play ball? People are dreaming about playing ball. Guys that are dribbling 7-8 hours a day, shooting 7-8 hours a day to be in a position these dudes are in, and they want to jack up 50-footers down the stretch and shoot jump shots out of rhythm because they're not happy they can get the ball in the previous possession. I mean, do you forget who you are? You forget where you're at? Disgraceful. Dudes made $500 million in this league and don't respect the game they play. It's disgusting. Anyway, that's my venting session, man. We're reaching the Kobe minute. I don't know what I want to call this video. I thought I was going to talk about the Charlotte Hornets and the possibility of signing all those guys or trading for all those guys, but to be honest with you, I don't see any fruit in thinking that short-sighted anymore. Yes, we can't shoot, but no, this season is lost. Let's just be real. This season is lost if we can't seem to just simply make good organizational decisions like sending this dude home, Russell Westbrook. It's a very simple solution. And I gotta say this as well before I sign out and reaching that Kobe minute. But Darvin Ham, I think it's important that he stick to his word, man. Facts over feelings. Boy, you lost a lot of people when you don't stick to your word in LA. This is the land of Kobe Bean Bryant, and he ain't break his word like at all. He said he was gonna do something, he did it. So when you say you're gonna keep your facts over feelings and you're gonna put the team above other people's little nonsense, and we see what we saw last night, we lose complete and utter belief in your word. And that's a dangerous thing to lose with a team like us. We won 17 NBA championships, seen it all about 3 times. You can't lose us. We still with you though, because we understand the presence of what you're dealing with, but that can't happen no more, bro. Keep your word to the LA Laker fam. BDF 44.